Pink Bunny Girl 43 here. Today is day 2 of Tigerheart's week. The scene that my sister Rachel's gonna be drawing today is for all those Tigerheart and Dovewing shippers out there, of the time they confessed their love for each other. I'll read this scene to you now. It's on pages 106 through 112 of Night Whispers. Ahead, a tumbled-down two-leg nest rose up like a gray tree stump, smaller than the abandoned nest in ThunderClan's territory. Half the walls had fallen down, and there was hardly any roof. Wow! Dovepaw raced past Tigerheart and dashed up the pebbly path that led to the den's entrance. She stopped where the shadows filled the opening and turned back to Tigerheart. Is it safe? Tigerheart nodded. Dovepaw crossed the smooth rock that spanned the entrance and padded into the den. Moonlight pooled on the stone floor. She looked up and saw the starry sky. Straight wooden beams crisscrossed it. They must have held the roof up when the nest had been whole. How did you know about this place? She called as Tigerheart followed her in.
I'm telling I found it when we were apprentices.
He leaped up onto the rock jutting above the hole in the wall.
We used to play here.
With a second leap, he was balancing on one of the crisscrossing logs. It was flat on each side, and he padded along as though he'd done it countless times before. Dovepaw leaped up onto the jutting stone, her heart lurching as her paws slipped. Dust showered down while she shuffled to regain her balance. She eyed the log where Tigerheart had walked, judging the distance carefully, and then leaped. It creaked when she landed, but the wood was rough and soft enough for her to sink her claws into. Chest pounding, she steadied herself and gazed down at the floor below.
It's not too far down,
Tigerheart called from the other end of the log.
Don't be scared.
He flicked his tail and then jumped. In a long, arcing leap, he seemed to fly from one log to another, landing solidly and turning back to blink at Dovepaw.
Now watch this.
Without pausing, he leaped from one log to the next, the entire length of the nest,
and then turned and bounded back as though he were leaping stepping stones across a stream.
Be careful! With each jump, her heart jumped too.
That's nothing, he mewed. Landing beside her, he glanced up to where two logs sloped upwards and met at a point. Without warning, he reared on his hind legs and leaped, swinging by his claws from the sloping log before hauling himself up and scrambling to the peak.
Stop it! Dovepaw could hardly breathe. She couldn't imagine another cat being so strong and nimble. Or brave.
Tigerheart slithered down the sloping log and began to spring back towards her. As he landed on the log next to hers, it creaked.
The sound sent Dovepaw's thoughts spinning back to the hollow where the beach, its great trunk groaning and splintering, had toppled onto the camp. Watch out! A shriek ripped through her throat, and she leaped across the gap, clasping Tigerheart in her paws and sending them both hurtling onto the floor. They landed with a thump on a soft pile of moss. Dust clouded around them. Her eyes were streaming and throat burning. Dovepaw wriggled her paws. Are you okay? Tigerheart didn't reply. Oh, StarClan, let him be okay. Tigerheart?
I think I'm okay. A muffled voice sounded from beneath her. But you're gonna have to get off me so I can find out.
Mortified, Dovepaw wriggled away. I'm sorry, she squeaked. I didn't mean to land on you.
Tigerheart sat up. He lifted one forepaw and then the other, and then shook his head. I'll live, he announced.
His gaze was warm but puzzled. Dovepaw fought the urge to stare at her paws.
What happened?
He asked. She glanced up at the log. It was still in one piece. I heard a crack, she mewed apologetically. I thought it was about to break.
Tigerheart followed her gaze, squinting a little. Wow, he breathed.
Wow?
Can you see that tiny splint?
Dovepaw looked harder until she saw in the moonlight a small, fresh crack on the log.
You've got even sharper ears than I thought. Tigerheart's whiskers twitched. You saved my life. He scrambled to his paws and began to circle her, tail high, a purr in his voice. Without you, I'd be dead now. You're my hero. How can I possibly thank you?
Dovepaw lifted her chin, playing along. You must bring me mice, she meowed haughtily, and a fresh squirrel every day for a moon, and new moss for my nest, and... She flicked his chin with her tail tip. You must follow me around all day and pick the burrs out of my pelt.
The playfulness drained from Tigerheart's warm amber gaze.
Dovepaw tensed, wondering if she'd teased him too much.
I'd gladly do all that for you.
His mew was as steady as his gaze.
You didn't have to save my life first.
Dovepaw stared back. I didn't really save your life, she whispered. It was just a tiny crack. That log could still hold your weight.
Maybe, Tigerheart agreed. But you were worried about me. That means you care, right?
Dovepaw saw doubt flicker in the young ShadowClan warrior's gaze.
I mean, you care more than if we were just friends,
he pressed. Dovepaw swallowed. For the first time, she actually felt like she had the power of the stars in her paws. Yes, she breathed. Yes, I care. Her heart twisted in her chest, half in pain, half in joy. I shouldn't, but I do. A purr rose deep in her chest as Tigerheart leaned forward and touched his muzzle to hers. Their breath billowed into one single cloud. He twisted his tail around hers and warmth spread beneath her pelt.
Tigerheart sighed. We better get back before we're missed.
He pulled away, but only far enough to let her get to her paws. Together they padded through the nest's entrance, fur brushing fur. They paused on a smooth rock, and Dovepaw stared out at the forest stretching down towards the distant lake. This is going to work, right?
Yes, Tigerheart promised. No boundaries are ever going to be strong enough to separate us.
Dovepaw blinked at him. Really? She wanted to believe it. She had to believe it. Nothing had ever felt so important.
Let's meet again before half moon, Tigerheart suggested.
Tomorrow. Dovepaw felt bold.
Do you think we can leave the camp 2 nights in a row?
Tigerheart's eyes widened.
You'd take that risk?
It's worth it. She brushed his cheek with her nose. His scent felt warm on her tongue. He was hers now. He didn't belong to ShadowClan. They belonged to each other.
What about your den mates? Tigerheart pulled away. They'll notice you're gone.
It's just Ivypaw now. She won't tell.
She felt him stiffen. Ivypaw?
A cold stone dropped in Dovepaw's belly, and suddenly, she remembered the look her sister had shared with Tigerheart during the battle. Do you know Ivypaw?
Tigerheart flicked a strand of dried grass awkwardly from her shoulder. I've seen her at gatherings.
But nothing more than that? Dovepaw demanded.
Tigerheart sat back and looked her straight in the eye. You mean, have I ever asked to meet her in the middle of the night and brought her here to risk my life on collapsing logs? Let me think.
Dovepaw fought the urge to shove him.
Nope, pretty sure that I haven't.
He touched his nose to her ear.
There's only one sister that I'm interested in.
His breath was warm. How could she have doubted him? Aw, cute Tigerheart. But I'm not buying it. Sure, you're not bringing Ivypaw here to this particular two-leg dwelling, but you are meeting her every night in the Dank Forest and bonding over Fight Club. And you know the rule. You don't talk about Fight Club. In the early books of Omen and the Stars, I definitely see the jealousy happening between these two sisters over Tigerheart. And that's not super good in any relationship. Sneaking around at night with the dead cats isn't healthy either. My question is, when does Tigerheart sleep? He's either moonlighting with Dovepaw or training in the dark forest with Ivypaw. That poor boy must be exhausted. I'd love to hear in the comments section down below what you think of Tigerheart's full-time job, between his secret love affair with Dovepaw and being a sneaky Dank Forest warrior in training. Is it weird that Dovepaw's an apprentice and that he's a warrior? Her going on and on about him basically being her mate, and she's just an apprentice. I think it's weird. Let me know what you think down below. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's drawing and theory. Make sure to check out the video on the side of our last speed paint. And click that subscribe button and little bell icon so that you can always be notified when we upload, so that you can be part of #EarlyClan. Down below in the description will be links to our eBay and Etsy stores, where cool merch items are available for purchase. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you soon for the next speed paint. Bye-bye!